Good night, Vietnam or Venezuela.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is You, Me, and BTC episode number 222. And this could easily be one of the best stories, one of the best shows. We have a returning guest, Mr. Eduardo, joining us today, and we'll get to more of his scoop momentarily. Literally, I had fun writing the show notes for today's show, because I just said, guys, the only show you ever watch, it has to be this one. We have the leaked straight from Venezuela, from the pen of old Nicky Maduro. That is all coming up tonight, and we're going to have a great conversation.
We're not
it.
We're just regular guys under extraordinary circumstances, dude.
Well, we're definitely journalists tonight. We need some journalistic protection, so that's definitely what we are tonight. Guys, before we get into all this, I just have to mention the place to be is youmeandbtc.com/live. And the reason you want to be there is where the chat is. We're going to have a blast in there. You can feel free to share anything you want in the chat, whatever you think about Venezuela, whatever you think about their Petro crypto coming up. You can scroll down to the bottom and vote in our poll, which is asking whether or not you will or would invest in the Petro. Found at youmeandbtc.com/live. And I'm going to turn it over to Zach to give us a bit more premise here and get things rolling.
Yeah. All right. Well, you already know me, Dan, and Tim, but I want to take a moment to introduce our three very special guests who are here to talk to us tonight about El Petro, Venezuela's national cryptocurrency. Now, everyone, all of our listeners, everyone who's ever heard of Bitcoin knows that the point of a cryptocurrency is to have a decentralized, autonomous cryptocurrency free from any central power or central issuing institution. Except Maduro has had the bright idea to co-opt all of that and issue his own cryptocurrency backed by Venezuelan oil called El Petro. Before we get into any more details, I want to introduce Eduardo, who you all know we chatted on this show in December. We also have the legendary Gonzo, and last but definitely not least, Alejandro. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining us tonight. Maybe start with Eduardo. Can you each tell us a little bit about how you got into Bitcoin and how this has sort of transformed your life and brought you to where we are now?
What made you talk to Zach?
Hello, everyone. As you may already know, my name is Eduardo Gomez. I'm the head of support at the Bitcoin startup Purse.io. I got into the Bitcoin space. I got probably introduced into the Bitcoin space in 2015. Although I discovered Bitcoin in 2012, like I said in the interview before, I was pretty much just a freshman in college, discovered Bitcoin and started mining it with a GPU. Managed to mine a couple of BTC, quickly forgot about it, and picked it up again in 2015 when we started seeing this crazy rally in the Bitcoin price. And coming up as a Venezuelan, I think we Venezuelans, we people living in Latin America and South America, we are the true users of cryptocurrency. People in the United States, people in Europe, they use crypto mainly as an investment mechanism, as a speculation mechanism. We Venezuelans literally use it to survive. We use it to not so much as to pay for goods, but as to store wealth and protect ourselves from triple, four-digit inflation and currency devaluation. That coming up as a Venezuelan, I think using Bitcoin has changed my whole life. I think the same can be said for Gonzo and Alejandro. Discovering Bitcoin was a magic revelation for many people in Venezuela, because we started learning about the ins and outs of money and how the global economy works. I think one of the biggest benefits of cryptocurrency is that we're having 15-year-old kids that instead of spending their times playing video games, they're learning about the Federal Reserve, they're learning about fiat currency, they're learning all the sort of crazy shit that we all know about, and that we try to suck our information that is out there, that we try to suck in to be able to, make a living out of Bitcoin. So yeah, Bain Venezuela has been definitely a boost for the cryptocurrency community. So yeah, I'm very glad to join you all, guys, and we're going to have a lot of fun here.
Yeah, being like every Venezuelan, I watch it as an opportunity. I was like aware, like I hate myself because I'm a Slashdot reader since 1995. But buying from Venezuela was really hard, so I never buy it. And 2013, when the rally started, I started trying to buy like when it was at 400. I didn't knew much about trading or nothing, but by that time I was working in politics. I was like with all our friends, and I realized that you can do politics without money, dude. Even if you're like the smartest guy, you're like the organizer, you're like everybody say, oh, you're the genius, how well you do your job, you organize people. If you don't have money, you can't do politics because everything costs. But I always like see it as a way of investment myself. Like, you something, I have a plan, and I even like presented to some of the people of my party like, let's do this, and they're like, you're crazy, Gonzo, again with a crazy idea, So I like kind of like invested in myself, and I like begin doing my political job by myself. Everybody was telling that I was crazy. I think that in some documentary that probably someday buys probably will air. They have like the video. I comment there that I didn't know if I'm stupid or brave, like from the start of the beginning of the Bitcoin thing, and trying to explain to everybody what's happened, because I'm a guy that I've always been in the spotlight. It's not like I'm a special guy. No. I'm just a regular guy that don't know how to keep his fucking mouth shut. And I always like speak my truth, and it's like the story of like, hey, Alejandro, see you there. So yes, that Bitcoin is one of the most political things, and it's so political that right now the fucking government, and this is one of the reasons, because sometimes I take it personally, but I try to think it is, because everything I have tried to do with my life in Venezuela, everything I will try to do and help the Venezuelan people in the private industry, on the politics, and in Bitcoin, groups that are associated with me are ended up jailed. It's like, what the fuck is happening? And yes,
holy hell.
It doesn't have like directly, dude, but it's the truth. It's our facts. So when you like start like seeing, I don't know what is happening at the end, but I'm really sure there's some really big mafias of the guys that they negotiate with the dollar exchange rate in Venezuela are heavily involved in this movement with Petro. And these guys are really fucking dangerous. This is like the top of the heavy politics. This is not about just power. This is about why people want power, money.
Yeah, these are professional scammers. I think the world needs to be more aware of that. Many people are dismissing the Petro as some, it's never going to take off because, the ethos of the whole crypto community is based around decentralization, and, just the target audience doesn't match up. But these guys, I think, know pretty well what they're doing, and they're trying to execute in a way that lets them either, manipulate the currency and sell at the top. They're trying to take advantage of the fact that there's a lot of speculators out there. There's a lot of people who want to scam each other. And these guys are people who consistently out-scam and outmaneuver other people who are very good at pulling off really, really shitty stuff.
These are the guys that at the end launder the money of the topics, guys of the government, and sometimes, and I'm afraid to say, but I did say sometimes to some part of the opposition also. That's the fucking truth of what's happening in Venezuela. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks because you're in the fucking middle, and if you don't, sometimes, and I've been feeling this forever, if you don't shut your fucking mouth, you will and crossfire. And I'm gonna shut up my mouth because Venezuela needs, and Bitcoin needs Venezuela. It's like a mutual relation. Because there's a lot of holders in Venezuela, and there's like a lot of stories of people that are helping themselves getting out of poverty and surviving during the greatest crisis economically, and now from this point on politically. Because what the government is doing is not just that they want to launch some cryptocurrency over the Congress right now, which we, the Venezuelan opposition, won 2 years ago, like probably more than practically all the seats. We only like lost like 3 or 5 10. We have like the majority of the Congress, and this guy's on violation of every law. And using the of the people from my country, and it's like outrageous for anyone to see.
Well, before we get too deep into the politics of it, because I want to dive into all of that.
I get emotional. So
no, I just have a couple questions, and I want you guys to sort of take the reins. But the juicy part of this is Eduardo has a white paper for this token, El Petro, and I asked him for it, and I think Gonzo asked someone for it, but everyone's being so secretive about it. No one will give us this white paper. And there was one white paper on Reddit that was posted several weeks ago maybe, and the government said, no, that's fake, not the real white paper. So Eduardo, can you tell us what's the deal with the fake white paper, the real white paper? Can you show us the white paper for this super sort of mysterious El Petro?
Yes. The reason why there was a white paper going around is because someone used what was then revealed, the logo of El Petro. Someone used the logo and created a white paper on it to be able to scam people. At the end of the document, there was an Ethereum address, and they were it was in a website that they created, and just like a shady ICO, they tried to pull a scam. So that's the white paper that was going around in social media.
Why it doesn't surprise me that?
Yeah, it's not surprising.
So, hey, I have a question about that, because the one that I saw on Reddit was hosted some, I don't know, Spanish official-looking website. I can't read Spanish.
It was because I saw the link.
So, I'm just curious what that website was. I mean, if you know.
It was a government website. It was a presidency website. That's why I think it was like the fucking real thing, but it was so fucking bad that even they retracted themselves, because some guys that are involved with the Petro, they wrote me on Telegram using other friends, because I don't talk with them directly because I don't trust them anymore. So I cut relation with that. So you don't trust people, you just don't talk with them. Like, it's what you do, dude. So I got the information that, dude, that's fake. And when I got the information that it was fake, it was like, this is fucking real. They're like the worst thing in ever.
Yeah, they're like, no, this is fake. It's fake. It's definitely real.
And the link was taken like from a government. So I'm not pretty sure it was real. Fake. If somebody making and posted it on a link, but as this government acts, it looks like it was a paper, because they're like,
yeah.
Eduardo, can you walk us through like how this currency will be, because there's like a pre-mine or a pre-sale or something, and then allegedly it's an ERC20 token, and then
I already know that they're gonna give the developers like 7.7% of the coin emission for developing. It's going to be an ERC20 token, 100% sure. So it's not going to cost anything for them to emit it, as doesn't cost anything to emit an ERC20 token. I know that they're selling like spaces in the line to buy Petro. It's like everything is corruption. Like, so you have to buy a place in the line to be able to buy Petro, and they're like, their plan is to sell some of them at $14 first to some group, and then start selling retail March, April around $20.
Okay,
And
so yeah, so the way the white paper that was going around in social media was a fake one. Then a previous version, a version that Alejandro managed to read, it was pretty much the real thing. And the one that I have is still not the white paper, because the white paper has not been released as of now. The version, and this is the same document that the people of Reuters got to read, and the same document that the people of Bloomberg got their hands on. The document is a technical document. It's not a white paper as we know it. It's a technical document that pretty much goes around and the overall structure of what the ICO will be. So what the government is going to do is that they were going to have they will have an ICO sale with an RC20 token in the Ethereum network, and they put an emphasis in the document about the wonders of Ethereum and how it's a public chain with most transactions in the world, and how it is a flexible and very capable technology because of the smart contracts and that sort of thing. But to be clear, El Petro is not going to be an RC20 tradable token. What they're going to do is that they're going to use Ethereum to have a token sale. Those tokens will be burned in a one-by-one basis and be redeemable as tokens in another private blockchain. This private blockchain.
The DCR chat they're planning to do.
Yeah, the RC20 aspect is just to be able to sell the tokens.
Because they don't have nothing.
Yeah, they don't have nothing. They don't have the technology.
Regulator have some plans to migrate the thing to Decred.
Yeah, so the plan is
all the mining in Venezuela. The government with these guys and they're associated, dude.
Yeah, they will have the sale with the token, and then they will use a structure with federated nodes. It will be a fork of what we think is Decred. They will fork Decred, and the Petro won't be mineable. It's not like it will have a blockchain where miners will pull in and secure the network. No,
will get interest rate. Will not be mineable, but the miners will get interest rate out the pulse of Decred.
Exactly. So they will have federated nodes controlled by the government. So it won't be a public blockchain. It will be a private blockchain controlled by the government. And
human rights violation government.
Yeah. So the token they will have according to the current structure, they will have a pre-sale. They will have a pre-sale on February 15.
Will be first a private first sale because only friends will be invited.
Yeah, so they will have a pre-sale. They will have a pre-sale, and they will sell about 3.5 million tokens.
A private pre-sale. It's not just a pre-sale. It's a private pre-sale because
it's a private
60% discount. They say.
Yeah, at 60% discount.
Okay.
So, for example, in the technical paper, they establish a price according. No, what the government is saying is that each Petro will be redeemable by 1 barrel of oil by 1 barrel of oil, which is total bullshit. But okay, so let's
also that's unconstitutional.
Yeah,
and just the National Assembly of Venezuela just declared that act illegal, and anybody involved with that process is subject to further enforcement of law for corruption because what they're doing is fraud against the nation.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about, because not only So for some of this is just me reading what Reuters and a couple other news sources have said, but on top of Parliament saying it's illegal and you can't issue or mine this token, the United States has also issued a stern warning against any citizens interested in investing, which may cause a damper or a dent in interest in it. Maybe not. I want to hear your opinion. But then some of the countries, from what I was reading, that Maduro wants to use this. For example, Bolivia bans cryptocurrencies, from what I understand. So does that include El Petro also, or will they make an exception for that? How does all of this work together?
It doesn't work because they don't have idea what's happening in the world, and what they are seeing is just a distorted version of what is the cryptocurrency, because they only understand the fraud part and the scam part, because they're not getting how it works. They're not getting that this is going to change the world, and they can do nothing about it, just to take this small hot towels, like to try to prevent it, but you can stop a dam erupting just with a little bit of hot towel. So I think that governments, we hear so much of things that the governments are planning. The government of Venezuela already have an electronic currency, like from 10 years ago, call it Sucre, and what's gonna be used to revolutionize the commerce between Bolivia. It doesn't work at a shed. It just worked for some officials to get corrupted and steal a lot of money from the people that is now suffering from lack of medicines and food.
So what is Maduro going to do? What is Maduro going to do since the parliament said this is illegal? You can't do.
Oh, they always go ahead with the plans. They pay no attention to whatever the National Assembly says. They invented their own parallel National Assembly called the Constituent Assembly, and they just roll with whatever they want. So basically, Maduro is ruling by decree, and they're ruling by junta. You know, like in the old days, the military dictatorships.
It's transforming itself into a full-blown dictatorship, my friends.
Yes,
what is happening right now is history evolving on live on our faces. Sometimes we don't understand it. But yes, they are like practically. I cannot tell you like a story. I have some friends that are like, and they're congressmen right now, and they tell me, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen with us.
Yeah.
And I don't know what. Have money, I don't know where to run. I should have listened to you and buy bitcoins.
So do you think we sort of set out the poll at the beginning, or Dan did, asking people who are watching tonight if they're planning on buying El Petro whenever the pre-sale is over and the nodes are established and it's fully launched, I guess. But obviously, so the United States, the currency wars are all over the place already right now for the past 100 years or so with paper fiat currencies. But now Venezuela is trying to take it cryptographic. In your opinion, and I guess Tim and Dan, I want to know your opinions too. I honestly have no clue, like whether Americans are going to take our government seriously or be like, fuck that, we're going to buy this because it's just another shit coin that we want to pump and dump and all this stuff.
Yeah, like, see if we can moon it.
Well, I mean,
I think
if the U.S. government can tie your identity to any sale of Petro, they will sanction you. You know, this is something very serious. If the U.S. Treasury has issued this very, very stern warning, as you just said, and in any way, like if you get sloppy with your keys management, or if in any way they can analyze the Ethereum blockchain in the future, anytime in the future, they will probably, you know, I don't know what the measure is, but they may put you in jail, or they may try to fine you because you have just circumvented U.S. law because the U.S. thinks that the issuing of Petro is additionally issuing of Venezuelan debt, and the U.S. has established that they will not allow U.S. persons to sell or to finance Venezuelan debt any longer, since we are military dictatorship.
Part of the agreements that we as opposition have made with the whole world, but don't let anybody like lend us more money to these guys.
It's been
they don't have permission. Because it's not there. They don't have permission. They need to negotiate with us. They don't want to negotiate.
Yeah, I think one of the...
We do have, just to mention it, fortunately, most people that have responded to the poll have agreed that there's no freaking way, and because it's blood crypto. That was my little touch that I had. But that is winning so far.
I saw opportunity for the Petro if they were willing to sell some in bolivares, because that will be a way to some people to get liquidity in hard currency if they can like later exchange it for something else. But as now, they are clearly saying everywhere and in the Whitepaper that they're only gonna sell Petros for dollars or Bitcoins or Ethereum or whatever. It's pretty clear that the demand that was gonna happen for the Petro is just half. Because
I think
Venezuela has dollars, and everybody that has dollars is not gonna buy Petro. So I think that the government is gonna reality in some months, and they're gonna realize that it's a really bad idea and it's not gonna work at nothing at all. And probably some people are gonna lose their money, and some of them is gonna end on jail, accused for something of the government themselves, because probably some of them are gonna be my friends.
Yeah, I think the one of the biggest risks that exists right now with the Petro is that the Petro has been classified by the U.S. government as an illegal issuance of debt. So the government is saying that each Petro will be redeemable by 1 barrel of oil. So the way I see it, if you were listening to this interview, to this show, if you're a cryptocurrency investor and you're the kind of guy that likes to do the research before buying a cryptocurrency, you know, we people that are in this space, when we want to buy a currency, we typically do some sort of research, like, you know, what is the team behind it? What is the market cap? Is this an utility token, or what is? With Petro, if you want to do that due diligence, you're immediately going to realize that El Petro is illegal in the U.S. The U.S. government has warned against buying El Petro.
And that will make it really hard to any exchange to accept that, because it will be to get in trouble with the United States, and nobody wants to be in trouble with the United States.
Exactly. So
you know,
basically,
they're always trying to exchange where they can list it. So I don't know.
Well, yeah. I want to talk. I want to speak. We all know it's backed by oil, and I want to talk about oil because oil is one of Venezuela's chief exports. But they're at almost a 3-decade low of oil production. It's like 28, 29 years or something. This year was the lowest production of oil in Venezuela in the past 3 decades. And yet they're staking the value of this currency on this resource. And we talk like in money, in any sort of monetized good, scarcity is important, but this seems to be sort of the wrong type of scarcity, where you're pegging your money to an asset that the quality is the quality is increasing.
The problem with using like that's something that has a counterparty with some oil reserve is that when you're kind of like, okay, give me my barrel of oil. The fucking barrel of oil is like 10 miles underground, dude.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
think
try it.
the easiest.
You have to drill, fucking drill. It will cost a lot of money to get my oil back.
I mean,
so
the easiest way to look at this is if you're a cryptocurrency investor and you do your due diligence and you try to research a token, when you research El Petro, you will find this. Before in 1999, when Hugo Chavez arrived to power, PDVSA, the main oil company in this country, the sole company allowed to extract the oil, PDVSA in 1999 had a workforce of 40,000 employees. 40,000 employees in 1999. And PDVSA, at that same year, was able to extract 3 million barrels of oil per day with a 40,000 workforce. Today, right now, PDVSA has a workforce of 300,000 employees, nearly a tenfold increase, and they extract about 1.7 million barrels of oil per day.
Nobody does that shit. They have more people.
Almost a 50% reduction. So are you going to put your money in a country, in a company that has increases its workforce by 10 and decreased production by 40%, are you really going to do that sort of investment?
Is the theory that it's an intentional reduction of supply, or just that they suck at mining?
No,
Drilling.
no. They suck at mining.
They
that's
everything.
Something.
Scamming.
What really if these guys will have like think like this with like calm, they should have made a strategy about it. This guy just got some crazy idea they're making, because probably imagine if I will be like the president of Maduro, I will be like buying bitcoins like silently, like since 2 years ago, putting in some reserve, and then try to sell oil on bitcoins, and then like with some news when somebody's pumping saying that the government of Venezuela is going to use Bitcoin, or Ethereum, whatever fuck they're willing to do, but they got it so easy. They would just you just have to shut the fuck up, work, buy some. I don't know, get it for Kim Jong. I don't know. I don't like giving ideas to the bad guys, but I love when I got better ideas and I could be even better evil than they are. So these guys are really easy. And what they're gonna do? They're gonna do a dog coin. That's what's the solution. And an utility token, something that nobody knows. It's got some value. And the only value and that's why they want it like this, is that they want to control the mission so they can sell some part to some friends to a lower price, so they can sell it like immediately expensive and they make a profit, because that's the way in Venezuela. Nobody wants to work.
And that's the way they survive. The only way that they have to survive is to enable that network of corruption and network of friends in the military and in the food supplies, and like the bare minimum that they need to operate, because this is just the way that they've done it forever. Like they used to do it with Venezuelan bonds, now they can't do it because of US sanctions, and now this is just the new bond, the crypto bond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we fight in this, and we'll tell a lot of people not to be scammed and just to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, and not to get in these currencies that are going to give some kind of support to human rights violation governments. It's really important, because we as a community, we can discover these guys, and we can also help Venezuela in some way, not let finance these guys. These are the roots of the evil, real evil in Venezuela. Those are the guys that keep these guys in power, that keep the wheels rolling. Because without the money, without the dollars, or now the cryptos they want to establish, politics doesn't work without money.
Yeah. Another important part of the white paper is that in the white paper it says that they're looking to incorporate counterparty technology, and the goal with that is to be able to make further emissions.
Activator is loaded with counterparty tokens and paper cash.
Yeah, they want to be able, using this counterparty tech.
They're also loaded on Decred. All of those guys are loaded on Decred.
What they want to do, they want to tokenize other assets like gold, the national gold, the diamonds, the coltan, precious minerals. They all want to ICO those to be able to finance themselves, because that or national reserves or national resources are sitting right there in mountains, in lakes, in our national geography. They're sitting there, and they cannot be extracted because we don't have the tech, we don't have the investors, we don't have the companies developing tech to extract those natural resources. So they're looking to make a profit out of that. They're trying to sell.
This is just a sale of the country to the highest bidder. So it's an initial country offering.
Yeah, that's the right word. It's an initial country offering.
I also remember that when the Stone Age ended, there were still a lot of stones. So I'm pretty sure when the old age ends, there's gonna be plenty of oil. Plenty.
Because Venezuela has so many natural resources besides oil. Gold, iron, diamonds, like you said, Eduardo, so many.
Venezuela is a clear example that the best natural resource is people. And when people leave, when you don't force people to be free and to create freely, Not having your soil, it doesn't matter. So the real richness is not on the resources, but the information and the people that use those resources. So I think that is a lie telling people in Venezuela that we live in a rich country. No, we live in a really poor country. We have some resources that if we exploit it, we're going to damage our beautiful country. So we have to take things very seriously on what's happening in the world. World is changing really fast. Thank God we have a really nice infrastructure for hydroelectrical power, so we can like probably assure most of the part of the energy consumption of Venezuela with water. But it will not last more than 50 years if we want to grow. So we have a problem. Venezuela needs to grow in some way, but it needs to get into green technologies in some point. Because, well, that's one of the reasons that I'm here in the USA. And you can realize that if we don't make the change fast, we're going to end in like Africa. But they have diamonds and they have oil, but they don't have the technology. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be like the Stone Age. We will have a lot of oil, but nobody will use anymore. Well, only will use for airplanes in 15 years, probably. That will be our time.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know. And that's a lot of oil, but once you keep the cost of consumption of cars in USA, it will be a significant drop. So I don't see the oil prices getting any more higher. So it's really important to Venezuelans in this moment of their lives to save their money in some way that can save their present value and increase. And right now, I only see this option as Bitcoin. And I really thank you, everybody in this program that had invited us to telling about what's happening in Venezuela and the Petro. To don't fall with these utility tokens that don't have long-term value. It's really nice for us sometimes to play, but on the long run, we should think on the longest and better blockchains. I'm a maximalist, but I'm also going to talk about Ethereum. Yes, you guys made it something. Yes, I hate you. Yes, but sometimes you need to open your heart. No, I didn't got in the train. Yeah, I got my commitment with Bitcoin sometimes, and I have not the best relation with the Ethereum community. But you have to realize that, hey, dude, we have made all this together. Right now is the time that we can use that power to empower other people and tell them, hey, there's a lot of things that are happening, but we have like all these 2 or 3 blockchains that are like the two that are gonna win at the end. And we can use it. And we can use it as technology to defeat governments on the long run.
Well, I'm curious.
It will take time.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm curious, though, to hear from each of you, sort of on what you just said, that, I mean, some of us, maybe some of us don't, but some of us sort of trade altcoins, and we don't have to be a maximalist necessarily, but there's a ton of coins out there, and you can trade some and others, whatever you want. But some coins that existed a couple years ago have died out, and new ones obviously have sprung up. I want to hear sort of from each of you what you think, if you had to give an estimate for a lifespan or a timeline, how long the Petro will last. Like, will it go through one huge pump and then a dump, or a few, or will it just kind of hang around? Or what do you give us a timeline? Like, what do you think?
It all depends. It all depends on how much liquidity they're willing to invest to support the price. And if they only gonna sell it right now, and then later they're gonna move it to a DCR, by that time there's not gonna be movement of coins, right? So they can like keep the price by that time because there's no blockchain. But once they have like a blockchain running and they have exchange running where people can dump their coins, they will need to support some liquidity of it. So I'm pretty sure that once they have the first place where somebody can dump the shit, you will see it dump. But now, price is gonna go up because they're gonna be an imaginary price because they're.
I think it'll all depend on how successful they are in this initial sale. I think we're in a critical moment right now. They're actually, Bloomberg has reported they're trying to sell the currency to Qatar and to other countries. I know of talks that they've been having with other countries. And presumably, you know, private individuals, millionaires, maybe they're targeting some crypto millionaires that, you know, have made money and they don't know where to put it. And I think if they are successful with this 60% off sale, it could be a huge pump and dump scheme where they just play once. They maybe gather like $250 million or something like that. I could see that happening. Like, I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but I definitely see the possibility of it. But if you think about it, that's not enough money at government scale. $250 million is nothing for Venezuela. So I think what they're going to try to do is to keep it running longer and try to keep manipulating the price without people noticing, without it being super obvious that they're doing so that they could milk this over time. But
yeah, because
I'm not sure they could pull it off.
Because each coin they'll sell, there is a dump already. So they don't need to dump it. Each coin they'll sell is like open mine. So every time they sell something, it's already the government dump.
Yeah.
I think
at the same time,
the best.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the best way to look at this, if you want to try to predict whether this will be a success, if this will be just a pump and dump scheme, the best way to look at it is the infrastructure and the on-ramps. So El Petro, it will be, the sale will be an RC20 token. So obviously they will try to list it on exchanges. However, thanks to the announcement from the U.S. government, no Western exchange like Bitfinex, Bitrex, Coinbase, Poloniex, they won't dare to list this coin. And Poloniex, Bitrex, and Bitfinex, they concentrate like, I don't know, like more than 50% of the trading volume in the Western Hemisphere. So the only way El Petro gets traction is if some shady Asian exchange like Binance or like, I don't know which other venues are there, but if one of them,
Dogs Exchange.
Yeah, the only way El Petro gets some traction is if it's some shady Asian exchange managed to list it, and that alone will be a hit for the exchange, because this is the first government-backed currency. So it's kind of a guessing game. Is Binance going to list El Petro? If it is a yes, then maybe El Petro will get some traction. If it is a no, then it will be a useless sell. It won't be a hit because no one will be able to buy the token, because if the government creates an exchange just for this, who is it going to trust a new exchange to deposit their BTC and buy the Petro token? I don't see that happening. I don't see the government opening up an exchange so quick. They don't have the manpower for that.
No,
so
the guys of I'm not gonna name it here because I don't have the information in hand. But one of the guys that are like assessing the government on this are like planning. They are gonna open the exchange, and they're like, they have everything done. They don't have a shit right now. That's the
yeah. One of the $1 million question.
Weekly is green. Weekly is green. Sorry, weekly is green.
Yeah, the $1 million.
Right.
The $1 million question. The $1 million question is, who are the guys behind El Petro? In the white paper or in the technical document, they call there's a foundation. The people who are developing El Petro are calling themselves Vibe. This Vibe initiative.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Well, Gonzo, you said you worked with some of them. Eduardo, Alejandro, I'm not sure if you know. I saw the name in an article, but I don't know who the hell that is. Do you have any idea who Vibe is?
It's a bunch of nobodies. I mean, well, some of them might be a little known in the crypto community, but not like none of the people you would expect. They call themselves experts, but there's Carl Bonschaff, Nick Spanos, a bunch of other shady people that are not really well known. They're not necessarily engineers or developers. They don't have a track record. The most like household name associated with it is these guys that are working on oracleization of contracts. I don't know if you know much about that, Eduardo. I think you know a bit more.
No, I don't personally know any of the people working on Petro. I know that there's a guy going. His name is John Villar. He's kind of popular on Twitter. He's a counterparty developer. He's the inventor of Pepe Cash, I think.
Yeah,
and
he's
working,
well known.
Yeah, he's well known, and he's working. He's working with El Petro, and I think he's the main reason why El Petro is going to have counterparty tech, because John Villar is a counterparty.
He's the main developer of counterparty.
Yeah, so they're working with the government, and according to the technical specs, and this is one of the most flavor-gassing facts about El Petro, is that the Vibe Foundation, the people developing El Petro, they're going to use Decred tech, they're going to use counterparty tech, and they're going to have an RC20 token. The flavor-gassing fact is that according to the token distribution, Vibe is going to have a 7.6% of the tokens. So if you're keeping score and you do the math real quick, they're going to be 100 million petros, right? And if each petro is sold in the market at 1 barrel of oil, which is $60, then the 7.6% of that is 7.6 million tokens. And if you multiply that by 60, it's about $450 million. That's how much the Vibe Foundation will get out of Petro.
Wow.
For forking public open source code.
Yeah, they're forking open source code.
Yeah.
They're forking that. There's no much knowledge in that. They're just forking open code, and they're branding it as El Petro, and they expect to charge $450 million for that. That's how corrupt this thing is.
Plus whatever gains they get from the Bitcoin or the Ether that they collect.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure.
I
also
wanna...
because... Sorry. Go. So I don't talk too much.
Well, hey, I was going to ask for, we shoot for an hour, but I'm happy to go as long as we need tonight. But I wanted to ask Eduardo, how much, I want to make sure I pay off a headline here as much as we possibly can. So I want to get anything we can out of you. Is there any hope for a screenshot or anything like that? Or at the very least, just another summary of as many details as you can give us.
Yeah, I will try to share a screen. Can I share the screen? I don't know if I can.
Yeah, so if you're in the Hangout, on the left side, there's the green kind of arrow.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to share that. Yeah, so this is a nice screenshot of the token distribution, and they're expecting to have a pre-sale of 38.4% of the tokens. The Vibe Foundation will keep 7.6%. And there will be the ICO will be 44%. So, and a government body will keep 10% of the tokens. This foundation will be like independent foundation, but it's just bullshit. It's going to be the government.
Yeah, and you know what the biggest red flag that I get from just looking at that graph? I mean, it just makes no sense that the government is willing to be able to keep only a percentage of that pie chart when they already keep all of it by selling the oil themselves. So why would the government settle for just such a tiny sliver of that pie when they could, if they were competent in selling oil, the whole thing? That's what they're doing right now. So why do they need a cryptocurrency to do it? It's because
they need a cryptocurrency.
They need to sell air.
Yeah, exactly. That's the argument. They're trying to pretty much collect money out of the natural resources that we have, but those resources are not extractable. They're not mineable. They cannot be extracted right now because we don't have the investment. We don't have the technology. The oil that is being used to back this cryptocurrency is extra heavy oil. It's very difficult to extract oil. We don't have the technology. There's probably not even technology in the U.S. to extract such a heavy oil.
So this is just their way to try to sell it. Like instead of putting the money into work, it like to just try. Okay, let's just get as much money as we can for it now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Before we're removed from power or before they jail us, that's the right word. I think Alejandro put it very nice and very simple in saying that this is an initial country offering. They're trying to sell the country and get Bitcoin in return. They get that.
I don't know. By these moments, I don't know if their guys are stupid, brave, out of ideas. They're becoming the biggest evil in the world, because everything that is happening right now in Venezuela is so surreal. Even this part, everything that happens in Venezuela is really hard to explain. But this make it like the worst thing in the world. They only want to steal their money. That's what they want to do, the government. The only thing. And everybody are like vampires watching, because as I told you, they don't understand technology. They only understood the scam part of the business, but they don't believe in the business at the end. So they're fucked in the end.
Yeah, they believe in the speculation part of the business, the scamming part. That's what they're after.
Hey, we all speculate. The price is gonna keep going up. Oh, I know, but it depends on how you see it. Or scamming, or is a part of a Ponzi scheme.
Well, I mean, we speculate all the time. Bitcoin is massively speculative, but we speculate on things that
we believe to have real value.
Yes, and that are open and accessible to everyone and aren't constructed by private, secretive, oppressive regimes, only sold or saleable to a limited amount of people who are wealthy enough to, as you said, Gonzo, buy a spot in line to even have the ability to buy this currency. And yeah, the initial country offering is just it's a perfect description, like summary of everything that you're telling us tonight, of how they are trying to scam they're trying to scam the entire world. Like, this is a government trying to be BitConnect all over again, except backed by oil or something.
My friend, my hope is that this is the government exit scam, and after this they leave, or they fucking leave, so that I can like keep doing the work that I want to do in my country.
I hope so too.
I hope this is the next scam. I hope.
Well, we're sort of reaching the hour time limit here. I like Eduardo, Gonzo, Alejandro. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and talking with us. Can you tell all of our listeners and us? I mean, we're already following you, but how everyone can follow you, stay up to date with information that you tweet out about Venezuela or about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. How can all of our listeners stay in touch with you?
Eduardo.
Sure.
Eduardo.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Cooliox. Like I said before, I'm the head of support Perks. If you have a question about their service, feel free to reach me out, and I will try to help you. Thank you so much for having us in this show today. My goal for this interview was to enlighten the public and raise awareness about these initial country offering that the government is trying to pull off. If you buy on Petro, be advised that you're buying an illegal security, be advised that you're helping a dictatorship, and that you're probably committing a crime in your own country. So please don't buy this shit. You're better off buying BitConnect than buying El Petro.
So, and you're betting against decentralization. You're betting against everything you stand for.
Exactly. So thank you so much for having us.
Eduardo, one more thing before you go. Again, just because I want to make sure we pay off as much as we can. So can you give just a quick summary of everything we touched on, as many details as we can remember and share about the crypto, how it's going to work? A quick summary.
Yeah, a quick summary is that The Venezuelan government is trying to pull off um, the the biggest exit scam in the whole fucking world. They're trying to they're trying to sell oil that is sitting down in the air that they cannot extract, and they're hoping that this cryptocurrency, they're hoping to hold on to the cryptocurrency craziness going on in the world and be able to profit out of the oil reserves, out of the natural resources that we as a country have. They're trying to profit out of that, and they're trying to use the blockchain ecosystem and the Bitcoin ethos as the reason, as a driver for this historic exit campaign. El Petro is an illegal issuance of a security, is a way for the government to issue a bond disguised as a cryptocurrency. And it is also a scheme that they're trying to put out where the people behind it, the developers of this El Petro thing, will get 7.6% of the tokens. They're trying to pull a scam where the developers will get $450 million if all the Petros are sold out. And I think it will be very foolish for the average investor to put money into this. And like I said before, you need to understand that if you're going to buy El Petro, you're essentially buying a piece of the Venezuelan government. Do you really want to own a piece of a dictatorship? Do you really are expecting to invest in a company, PDVSA, that in 1999 had a workforce of 400,000 people, sorry, a workforce of 40,000 people, and produce 3 million barrels of oil per day? Are you really going to invest in a company that today, 20 years later, has 10 times more workers and 40% less production? Is that really a wise investment decision? That's the sort of question that you, as a cryptocurrency investor, you, a Bitcoin user, an Ethereum user, a Litecoin user, a Zcash user, you who are in this cryptocurrency thing because you believe in decentralization and you believe that Bitcoin and these technologies represent monetary sovereignty. Are you really going to put your money with a dictatorship? That's the moral hazard that this El Petro thing brings. So I
Eduardo, are you putting yourself at any kind of risk by calling all this out?
Probably.
Are you putting us at risk?
Yeah, are we at risk?
No, you're no risk. You're no risk. But I'm not worried about that because I'm not currently in Venezuela, so I'm safe.
Well, hey, thanks for being honest and sharing.
Good, Eduardo. Good, well done, Eduardo. Nobody's safe here, and they know.
That was a great summary.
And everybody in some way that we know are involved in everything that's happening, and we don't know how it's gonna end. The worst is coming, Eduardo. Keep safe. Good.
Yeah. Hey, David and Alejandro. Any final thoughts? You want to share Twitter or anything that you want to get out?
Oh, well, yes, you can find me always on Twitter. I'm pretty active. I respond every message. I take my Twitter very personally. I'm a helper guy for Venezuela. I also really talk about any issues and technology and politics. You can follow me at Gonzo, UCAV of bad, but I'm not bad. It reads Gonzo UCAP. It's just Gonzo of the Muppets guy. I used to have like a really long nose, but I got a nose job, so well, life happens. And everybody in college called me Gonzo because I have like a really fucking big nose. So I'm Gonzo in Venezuela. Everybody knows me as Gonzo. And UCAP is the name of my college, my university, where I graduated from engineering. So you can find me in any social network, on Facebook. Please contact me, ask me questions. I'm a really open person. My primary job right now is explaining, helping the people of Venezuela, building a political capital for myself, and doing yoga because it's the only thing I can do under my circumstances.
All right, cool.
Well, Yeah, and I was Alejandro Machado. My Twitter handle is ALEMACGO. And you could read, if you're interested in about reading more about Venezuela, you can find my articles or some other articles about economics and politics at Caracas Chronicles. That's caracaschronicles.com.
The best place for find news about Venezuela.
It's pretty good.
It's the best place to find news about Venezuela in English. I'll say it because probably you guys are the best. You do a great job. I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. It's been a blast.
Thank
Zach, you want to close us off?
Yeah,
Thanks,
for
guys.
sure. No, I can't thank you enough, Gonzo and Alejandro, for chiming in and sharing your thoughts and opinions and firsthand experience. And Eduardo, thank you again for coming on and talking with me and the rest of the crew and sharing with us the white paper and how El Petro is going to work, as well as the schemes and everything else, the scams that are trying to propel it into existence. To all of our listeners, thanks so much for joining us.
I'm going to do a quick, just for kicks as a thank you, I'm going to read through some names from the chat. NY Cartoons, Duringo, all you guys have been great. Uaya, James Bond, Tim Baker, whoever that loser is, Jose Romero, M. Rocky, Alberto Eri, all of you, thanks for jumping in the chat. Thanks for dropping your comments. Anyone else, no matter where you are on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you're keeping up with us, just give us whatever it takes, a thumbs up, a retweet, a follow, a subscribe. That would be amazing. And until next time, the place to be in for everything is ubandbtc.com. Anything else, guys?
Virus in numeris.
What is
It's
it?
a wrap.
Strength in numbers.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap, guys. Peace out.
It's a
Have
wrap.
fun. We'll see you on Monday and live next Thursday.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.